Hello everybody, and welcome to my first narrated automation video. Today I'm just going to be showing you some of the features of the game. I'm going to build a real quick and simple car to show you all the different screens and options that you have. If you were on the fence about whether or not to buy this game, hopefully this video helps you out. We're going to go into sandbox mode and choose new car. Not sure what body style I want to use, but here I'll scroll down through them so you can get an idea of the different bodies that are available right now. There will of course always be more added, as that supports community mods through Steam Workshop. Let's just pick something nice and simple, and we'll start with that. Now on this screen you can morph parts of the body, change things around a little bit. Different bodies have different levels of things you can do to them. As you can see, this one has a lot of different areas to change, but I think that's good for now. On this page you choose what kind of chassis, and we'll go with a monocoque. And well, let's just go balls out with this and make everything the best it can be, just for the sake of being quick. But you can see all the different choices you have, and it tells you all the weights and costs and everything of each choice compared to what you've already chosen, which is handy. Now, I'm not going to go through each one of these, not narrated anyway. I will make this car. It's probably going to be ugly because I'm only doing this to show you what's available. I'll shut up now and get to designing the rest of this car. Just a quick note here on grills. If you look down into the little pop-up window there, you can see how much total cooling that fixture has available, and it changes as you change the size. That becomes important when you're building an engine and need to know how much cooling you have available for that particular engine. I'm adding a lot of stuff here that I wouldn't put on a normal car that I was designing, just so that you can see what it does and how it acts. The little scoops, or what you want to, or bulges, or whatever you want to call them here under bonnet, can generally go on the hood, but they can also go on the roof. So you could do like a rally car style or mid-engine car style intake on the roof if you want. Not real sure if they change the cooling effectiveness or not. I haven't really done many of those. Also, a lot of the stuff like the letters and two of these exhaust pipes, or at least the letters, are downloaded from Steam Workshop. I don't know, I download everything available and then decide if I want to use it or not. Okay, I think that's it for the body for now. We'll just leave it red, but as you can see, you've got full 16 million color, whatever you want to call it, availability there. And here you choose your drive type, rear wheel drive or all wheel drive. We'll just go rear wheel drive. And then I don't know why they added this, but there's another place to do headlights and taillights, but for some reason it's very, well, it's a beta game still, but it's very glitchy. And now we move on to the engine. Here we've got inline 4 and 6, V6 and 8, and a flat plane V8 as well. I'm going to put a V6 in this car, but again, we'll go best of the best as far as materials go. So magnesium, dual overhead cam, 5 valves per cylinder, aluminum silicon heads, and again, I'm just doing this very, very quickly. Billet steel, titanium conrods, and lightweight forged pistons. This page I generally leave alone until I figure out if I'm going to turbocharge or not. However, because there are no turbos available on V6s yet, I know I'm going to want to put the compression up probably around 10.8 to 1 and raise my cam profile. And we'll go with variable valve timing. Naturally aspirated, as I said, no turbos available for V6s yet. We'll go fuel injected with direct throttle per cylinder injection, a race intake, 95 octane fuel. I know that this is going to rev like crazy, so we'll start at 7,000 RPM red line. We'll go with long tubular headers, dual exhaust with bypass valves, and no sound deadening. Time to test the engine. I'll be quiet for that. As you can see, there's a lot of room for improvement there. Now, when I go back to the exhaust page, this pops up here. You can see everything is in green, meaning nothing is in danger of breaking, and I have lots of room to play. So we'll go back and raise the RPM limit. We'll say 8,000 RPM for now. Go back to the compression and cam profile page. Raise the compression a bit more. Let's try 12 to 1. No turbo. So, you can probably advance the timing a ways. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to raise the cam profile higher. As you can see, that changes the torque curve pretty dramatically, and you can see up here the muffler is starting to turn yellow, which means I've got my exhaust pipes are too small. Let's advance the timing a little more, raise the red line a little more. You can see, I don't know if you can tell or not, but this green and this green are slightly different. And if I hover over this, it tells me valve flow is occurring and reducing the engine's reliability. Well, since this is just a little demonstration, I don't really care. Now, you can see that went back to green. So, I think, yeah, we'll go with this. 373 horsepower, that's good enough for this. Now we get on to the more complicated stuff. Well, let's put a manual in this. Single clutch, 6-speed. Now, you can already see a gearing chart here. This tells you what each gear will do, and here's your top speed and spacing for those gears. I'm not going to mess with that yet. I always like to pretty much go through this without changing anything, and then doing a test run on the track so that I can track every change I make to see if it made it faster or slower. Let's go geared LSD. Here again, tires, tons of choices. First thing I want to do is go maximum width on both, except you see on the rear, because I didn't flare the arches, I can only go 205, so I don't want to go any bigger than that on the front. We'll go with sports compound road on 17-inch rims and make the sidewalls big enough to fill out the wheel arches. As of right now, there's only 6 different kinds of rims. We'll go with mags. I think those are pretty good. Brakes, lots of choices. On this car, we'll go carbon ceramic. Because this is a fairly light car, I think we can do 3 piston in the front with about 250 millimeter, and a 1 piston in the rear, maybe 200 millimeter. Won't change the pad type yet. And here you've got choices. Obviously the off-road skid tray is for truck. Semi-clad, fully clad, and downforce are for different variations of downforce. We'll go fully clad on this, and that opens up active wing and cooling flaps, which, as you change your wing angles, will change the downforce for the vehicle. Now, here's where that cooling airflow came in. Obviously, I have way too much grill for my required cooling is only 189, and I've got 917 available. So we'll give the brakes as much as they can take, and then drop this right down as close as we can get it to the 189. The lower your actual airflow is, the better aerodynamics you have, just like in real life. We'll make it 4 seats, sport, basic infotainment, give it power steering, anti-lock brakes. We'll give it everything. And just basic for safety, because who cares about the people in the car. Active sport suspension, semi-active and passive. I mess with none of this until I have a baseline on the track. And here's the test track. Now, this is the one that comes with the game. Also the airfield track, which I'm sure you folks will recognize. There are also tons of custom tracks that I have downloaded, but I don't generally get into those. So let's see how this does. Once again, I will be quiet. Alright, I'm going to cut in here because while we can watch the whole lap, we don't have to. After about the third gear shift, you can click on track stats and see exactly what the car has done. 126, that's not bad for something I just slapped together. And of course here at the bottom you can see the projected top speed and acceleration, as well as quarter mile and cornering force. Now here's where the game gets very interesting, because now I can go back into each of these tabs, like braking. You can see I've got way too much braking. The pink line is how good my brakes are compared to the red line for my tires, and same with the light blue and dark blue. So I can drop these down to 2 piston on the rear. That brings it down a little bit, and then we can make the brakes more comfortable. The thing to watch out for is over here on the left. This is a lot of the information about your vehicle, and you want to keep that brake fade as close to 0% as you can. So we'll drop all this down until we see brake fade starting to come in. And of course you always want your brakes to outperform your tires, or to have the capability of outperforming your tires. It's no good having super grippy tires if your brakes can't use them. Alright, that looks a lot better right there. So we'll stick with that for the brakes. Oh, here you can see my downforce is terrible. It actually lifts as the car moves. So we'll try 50%. Okay, that's great for the rear, not so much for the front. So we'll move over here. Whoops, wrong one. Well, because I didn't put lips on this car, yeah, nothing's really going to help with this because I did not put lips on the car, which I can actually go back and do. I'm going to do that because I cannot have that little bit of downforce. We'll pick the plastic lip and put it on the front. Spread it all the way across, but I don't like how thick it is, so we'll go down some with it. That should make a large difference, except it didn't. Not sure why that is. Might just be this body style. This is the first car I've done using this body. Well, changing it to downforce helped quite a bit. But the drag is just awful there. So I think we'll leave it this way and see what we can do with it. Again, I'm just playing around here, not building a car I'm going to keep. Now, this estimates that the top speed could be 179 miles an hour. So we'll get up close to there. 174. Now what I want to do is try to adjust my spacing so that wheel spin and 0 to 62 are as good as they can be. And we'll start, if you click not on the arrow, but in between the arrow and the cursor, you get jumps of 10. And that's just getting worse that way. You can also see that when it turns green, that means it's better, and when it turns red, that means it's worse. Yellow means it stayed the same. Doesn't look like I'm... Oh, see how it turned red? Looks like 5.6 is about the best I'm going to get. So we'll stick with that for now. This is why I usually build all-wheel drive cars. Now, this graph right here shows oversteer versus understeer. When the line comes up like this and drops, it will understeer. When the line comes up like this and goes up, it is oversteer. And while oversteer may be a ton of fun, in real life. In this game, it will cost you seconds and drivability. So that actually is a very good curve, and I'm going to leave it alone. Interior downforce is fine, interior is still fine. Now suspension. If you look over here on the left, you will see that it is bottoming out. So we need to raise the ride height just a little, which negatively affects roll angle, but we'll fix that here in a second with spring stiffness. We will raise the front springs by 2 and the rear springs by 2, and brought our roll angle right back to 5.5. Now you can of course mess with dampers and sway bars and all of that, and also camber, which will adjust your oversteer to understeer ratio over here. I'll show you just real quick. See how the line changes? And there it went to massive oversteer. But I really kind of liked the curve I had there. So let's see how this gets around the track now. And as I said, you don't need to watch the whole lap. We gained about 3/4 of a second, which for just a real quick messing around is not bad. If I really wanted to spend an hour or more on this car, I could get it much, much faster. But I don't want to, because this was just meant to be a demonstration video for all of you. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.